Growing up black. I would say black people, not even black people, just growing up black, you're going to go through some trauma. I feel like that's just what you gotta go through. Growing up black in the hood, in the trenches. Yeah, that was that. But yeah, growing up black, you had to. It's like you had to be perfect, as in a way. Like you can't have your hair nappy. You gotta always have your hair straight. You gotta always get your hair done. Black knees. I got criticized for my black knees growing up. It was just like, I don't know. You could be black, but they ain't want you to be too black. You feel me? Our hair is naturally curly, naturally nappy, but they don't like that. They want you to perm it and all that. Me personally, growing up, I would say my childhood was like 50-50. 1% of the 50 is me actually having fun, actually enjoying my life, enjoying my childhood, and then the other 50 is actually me going through generational curses and, you know, just a lot of generational trauma passed down. So it was definitely 50-50. I had my dad in my life. I do kind of figure, I think if I didn't have my father in my life, that my life would be really different than what it is. Like, way worse. Not saying that it's bad now, but we have our little moments in my life. But I'm glad I did grow up with a dad growing up. You know, we always made sure we was up to par, fresh. He didn't really raise us to be, how can I put this? The way my dad raised us, people would think we're from different states. I get told all the time that I act like I'm not from Baltimore. I give a different vibe, like out of state vibe and stuff. I feel like that's how my dad raised me. He didn't want us to be all like, I ain't even gonna say in the streets, because we wasn't really in the streets, but like far as like fighting, always in drama, like my dad wasn't like that. He didn't want us to be like that. He like, y'all too pretty to be doing all that. So we kept it cute majority of our lives. Okay, one thing. Growing up black, you got taught to catch the public transportation at a ridiculously young age. That's one thing that won't be happening with my kids. Like, no, they won't learn how to catch the motherfucking bus at 8 or 6. Tynell was catching a bus and walking to school by himself when he was 6 and 5. That's a little outrageous to me. That's one thing that I won't ever put my kids through. I don't care if I gotta put them on my back and walk them to school myself. As far as them just going to school by themselves and just catching the bus, being outside, like, no, I'm not doing that. Another thing, I want my kids to always speak their mind to me. I don't want to just shut them down first time they actually tell me how they feel. I feel like a lot of black kids now, not even kids, like a lot of black adults grow up not really saying what they want to say and, you know, not getting stuff off their chest because their parents was always, like, they couldn't really express themselves to their parents. So it's like they hold certain stuff in, and 10, 20 years later, you 30, you 40, 23, 25, and you can just now starting to learn how to really speak up for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing I won't ever shut down. I will always apologize to my kids, especially when I'm wrong. I won't just be taking out my heart. I won't just be coming home from a long day, hard day at work, and just coming home straight yelling at my kids. You know, making the oldest take care of the youngest. It's just a lot of stuff that I will be doing differently. Yeah. far as disciplining as well with the children, I do feel like the method of whoopings work. It's like you gotta learn you gotta learn what situations need a butt whooping and what situations need a talk or need a discipline, need a timeout. You get what I'm saying? There's a difference between the two, and I feel like everybody just whooping their kids off the littlest things where they can just have a talk, and now you wondering why you beating your kid every 3 days because they not learning from that butt whooping. You gotta actually sit down and talk to them. I never got that. I just got beat up and whipped, and you know. Some say it builds character. I say it builds trauma wounds. And again, I don't fault my parents. I love both my parents. They did the best they could. I'm here, right? I'm not in the best position I want to be in my life, but I feel it coming.
I can honestly say that I never actually experienced racism or bias growing up by an adult. But I remember I was in middle school, me and my cousin Felicia. We was going to Hampstead, and Hampstead was like 50% white, 50% black. So I was dating this one guy, this white guy. Well, I wasn't dating. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't dating. We kind of like flirted with each other, but he was white, and his friends and his family didn't like black people, but he loved it black girls. So he was like, we would sneak around and talk to each other at school. But when one day his friend caught us talking about the lockers, and I can't remember what he said, but I think he called me a. And this guy was like big. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, like Roseanne Barr was the show called Roseanne, her husband Dan. This dude was in middle school. He was big and shaped just like Dan. Like, he had the lumberjacket shirt on. Like, and he was like, he was fussing at me. He was pointing his finger, and I could have sworn he said, I think he did say it, but he was saying some other stuff. Me and my cousin looked at each other. We wore that white boy out. Like, we whipped his tail in school. Like, it was crazy. But besides that, I never experienced, nobody calling me the N-word or anything like that. You might see white people clutch their purse when you was younger, but other than that, I never experienced like being mistreated by white people or anything like that. So no, I haven't experienced racism or bias, not to my knowledge anyway. My favorite memories growing up black is going to Grandma Die's house like every weekend, especially in the summertime. Like, I had all my boy cousins were there, and my cousin Felicia was there. So it was like Grandma's house was the place that everybody came to, because she always had a cookout. We cooked on the grill, we sang, we danced, we played music, and just to be around family at my grandmother's house was like always the best. Every holiday, we was at my grandmother's house. Hanging with my friends was actually fun until I got pregnant. Even still being a teen mom, I still had fun growing up. Me being a mother didn't stop me from having my childhood at all. So I can say that was actually fun, having my son with me. And because everywhere I went, my son went. I remember one time I had to kidnap my own son, me and my cousin. My mother always tried to control my son and me. So she had punished me and let my son go outside, which was so funny and weird. So one day I was punished, and mother like, you can't go outside, so you guys stay in the house, and my son outside playing. So my cousin came over, and I was like, let's go to your house, yo. So I climbed out the first floor window, and my cousin came, and she put my son down the window so I could get out the window, and we ran down the back of the hill, down to the light rail, and went up my father's house. So spending time with my grandmother's side, on my grandmother, on my father's side. That was like my best memories growing up. And what I want people to know about black people is, well, let me just say this first. The jobs I had, I always come across different races of people. So I know a lot of the white people come across, they always say, you know, talking to you made me change my mind the way I think about black people in general. And I never understood what that meant when I was coming up. But now I see like what it really means now, because a lot of people think that black people is, we all are thugs, like we all just make babies and live on welfare, like we don't work. And a lot of us, majority of black people work, they go to school, they take care of their family, they don't depend on the government. Now, I don't know if we should say this, but lazy, they sell drugs, they go to prison, they live on government assistance, they have 1,000 kids. Black folks hate too, if I'm being honest with myself. Me, I'm a black person. I work for my money. I take care of my kids. I don't break the law. I mind my business. And that's it. I don't hate no race, but I don't understand why we all just can't get along as a race, because we doing the same thing. We all working. We trying to live to see another year. I don't understand what the big deal is. You can't judge a whole race off of people you see on the news all the time, which are drug dealers. Which we have white drug dealers, you have Palestinians, you have Italian drug dealers, but it's always when it comes to the black race, like we are considered the worst race, and I don't understand why, when the masses of other races doing the same thing that we do, but we just get televised more to make good TV. And I don't like that at all. I just want to say, just take each black person that you meet as who they are and not who you assume them to be. Because I can tell you this one time, recently, a friend of mine, he's from London, and he's British Nigerian, and he came to visit me in my mother's house, and she live in the hood, and he came to visit me, and he seen a whole bunch of, it was like 10 little boys outside. They all had on black, so of course you're going to assume that these boys are drug dealers, they gangbangers or whatever, which is not the case. These little boys go to school, they have jobs, they were just sitting outside of their mother's house or one of the homeboys' houses just playing. So when he pulled up and he seen the guys outside, he actually drove 3 blocks up, and he's a black man. So I'm telling you this, so it be your own people too. So he drove up 3 blocks and called me and asked me, where do you live? And I'm like, you just rode past. And he said, oh, I'm not coming down there. Like, it's like 10 guys outside. I said, they're children. Like, they like 13. They was between like 13 and 16-year-olds. I said, come on back down. So I had to come outside to meet him. So when he turned his car back around to come down to where the guys were standing at, when he came out the car and came out the steps, them same guys, he thought that were gangbangers, they were like, how you doing, sir? I like your shoes. Like, man, them shoes slick. That's that quick moment, he said it changed what he thought of those guys. He was like, he came inside the house, he told me, he was like, I was so scared, like, I didn't know what to do. He said, I came out, he's like, they were kids. I said, yeah, I said, they kids, they not, you think because they wear black and they have baggy pants on that they gangbangers, they not. They were children who just had on black and had their pants baggy. But they were actually good kids that was in school. So don't just take one thing that you know about black people, that we lazy, we sell drugs, and we have babies. Take us as we are individually and judge us based off of individuals. Don't deem the whole race off of a few that you may come across. The basics, but we didn't learn everything about the black race, which I think we should have. And I did have one teacher, her name was Miss Harris. Like, she was my favorite teacher. She actually lived in our community. She wasn't living like in the county. She actually came from the project developments in Cherry Hill, and I will always go to her class and talk to her because she was the main teacher who told me that I can be great once I become a grown person. She always encouraged me to do good in school, and I always try to make her proud when I would pass my grades and graduated from school. She's the first person that I actually called on the phone and told that I graduated. But I told her when I was like 15 that I was pregnant, and she told me, don't stop my education. She said, you can always go get a GED now. I didn't know what a GED was back then until she told me what a GED was. She told me you had to earn a GED. She said, because nowadays a lot of kids get pushed through high school. So a GED, you know that you earned it because that's from something that you know. You can't cheat that, so you got to earn a GED. So I got my GED after I had my son, but I was like 18 when I got my GED, and I was working. I remember I had a gym teacher. He told me before I got pregnant, he told me, his name was Mr. Brown. He told me, he was like, Cassandra, he was like, if you keep your studies up, he said, I know you can be in the women's league and the basketball and the WNBA. He said, because you good, you just so shy, I believe you can do it. But I was scared. I didn't like having attention on me in school, so I kind of shied away from playing basketball or trying to be the star of the team, so I stayed in the background. But besides that, I really hated school because, like, my mother, we had nice clothes to wear to school, but I couldn't focus because we had a lot going on at home, and I was just not interested in school at the time like I am now. So now it's crazy that I'm in school again to get my daggone bachelor's degree. I love school now, but I hated school growing up because I was tall. I was the tallest girl in school. I'd stutter. I used to talk fast. I used to get teased a lot because I stuttered and I would talk fast, and I was tall as the girl. I was the tallest kid in school from elementary and middle school. I was the tallest girl in school.
44,000.
You over, he won! Ah!
Rodney won $57,692 in the prizes. Thanks for watching the show. He said your cut spade or neuter help control the cut population.
Other people had more privilege than what we had. White people had more privilege. And that's all. But I don't know. Sometimes I used to think, well, what if I was white? I had long hair like that. But I had long hair anyway. It was thick, coarse. But it was pretty though. But sometimes you couldn't do a lot of other things that white people did when we was coming up. You know, they go on trips down to Florida. We couldn't do all that. But we had big family reunions and stuff. My uncle used to get us, take all of us down there, my mother kids, take all of us down there to Georgia. And we had our family reunion. It was nice. I loved it. Plus I grew up in the, I was born in 59. But growing up in the 70s was beautiful. I loved it. The music was so beautiful. Earth, Wind and Fire. You know, the stylistics, the Delphonis. That was love. We had love music. We had a music that people could feel. You know, back in those days, in the 70s and stuff, you could feel that the nice atmosphere. It was love on that, you know, in the atmosphere. You just could feel how much love it was. But things have changed now. Our young people, they don't get to feel it like we felt coming up. They don't know how it is to sit outside, go play, have a good time with your friends. You ain't had to worry, your parents had to worry about you not coming home, afraid that your kids gonna get killed out there on the street. You know what I'm, it was just beautiful. You know, we could leave our doors open. And one thing about it, I grew up in Cherry Hill in Baltimore. You know, we lived in the projects, low housing. But we lived it good, you know. I mean, times got rough, but my mother always made a way. We always looked good, though. We always looked nice. Like I say, I ain't had no problem at all. But it just said that our young kids can't experience what we experienced. It's no more love for no one no more. The respect is gone. Not saying all children today are like that. You got a lot of kids with a lot of mores. Some just don't care. They take life for granted. Back then, we didn't take things for granted. But these kids today, they got too much. They don't know how to think for that stuff. I mean, it's sad. Technology then took over everything. Our kids don't even know how to date. Don't even know how to curse it right. Or tell time. Manual time. That we have to learn all that. Not today they don't. I don't understand. But it ain't for me to understand. You know, I love being black. I love my nationality. I love it. Oh, ain't nothing too much more I can say. You know, I just pray that these kids will get their life together. It's a better way in life than the life they live. The parents then lost, these young parents then lost respect about being a mother and about being grandparents. The grandparents sitting getting high with the grandkids. That don't make no sense. My mother would never ever would have sat down and drank with us, smoked with us, or any of that. It was a time and place for everything. We didn't do that. We had respect. We respect our elderly. We respected our parents. We respected our uncle, aunts. We did all that. Oh, and one thing for sure, if we fight, we ain't had to worry about once we fight, when we got into a confrontation, if we fight, we ain't had to worry about nobody coming back and killing us. Once we fight, it was over. Not these days. They come back for you. And it's sad. But, I don't know. I'm blessed. That's all I had to say. If I could live my life over again, I wouldn't do no different what I'm doing now. I love me. I'm blessed. That's it. That's all I can say. Only I can say my mother did the best she could with us. I loved my parents. I loved my mother. It meant so much to me. But kids these days don't respect their parents. They take their parents for granted. And they say, but other than that, I don't know what else I could say. At all. I'm blessed. I got 26 grandchildren, 20 grandkids, and I have 7 great-grands. And I'm 65 years old. And I would be 66 this year in August, if the good Lord let me live to see it. That's the blessing for me. Thank you for recording me, Tara. Now I go eat now.
Big O, me and you gonna fight one-on-one. Leave it alone. It's different. When black is different. Definitely when I went my godmother away, cause she a Caucasian lady, and I saw how them kids live different from us, way different. I was raised in the hood, like in the trenches, so it's more different than like an ordinary black family. Yeah, I deal with a lot of crime and a lot of safety and stuff, but it's good. It's good days. It's good times too. You try all different things. I can say that. But my childhood was crazy. My mother, she raised me by herself. She made sure that I had everything I need. Not that I want, that I need it. I saw things that I shouldn't have seen, but at the same time, I had good times too. My mother did try to keep the stuff away from me. But living in the hood, you're going to experience certain things. But it make you strong. Being black is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I love being black. I never had experienced racism until I was, 16? And I was around my godmother and her people. And they was talking about something. Yeah, what, you her maid? And I said, no, I'm her niece because she's white. I knew her forever, but her family didn't know me. And I had to learn how to have two different lives outside of my life and the life I wanted. You don't get all the good privileges that everybody else get.
You go to the big screens
You
next.
don't. But at the same time, I won't change my skin picture for no one because it's strong, it's vibrant. It make me feel like a queen. Definitely when I walk in the room, I'm a queen. Yeah, I became a mom. That made me more of a black queen. Because it made me strong, it made me stronger and wiser. I feel like I can conquer anything if I put my foot out there. I wouldn't change my complexion for the world. Yeah. And I realized we don't experience a lot of different type of taste either being black. We love our soul food, our fats, we love all our stuff. But we strong. I realize we can be anywhere, any type of culture, and we will vibe. We will vibe out. Real hard.
Kamora, you better get
I love that about
up here.
us. Can nobody take that from us? Yeah.
Let's see that.
Black people.
Let me see that arm.
That's what I like. It's stressful though. Everything is not good and gravy. We make you stronger, because we fighters. We don't back down. Now I'm older. I turned 31. Bro, it's crazy. It's crazy. Sometimes I wish that I could be one of them modern black families and stuff. But then I realized, man, they can't. They just like us. We just all strong in our own different way. But that's it.
People saying that black people are not as powerful as other races, not as determined and driven, and not as ambitious. My childhood was fun. When I was younger, we went on a lot of trips, vacations. Once as I got older, is when you separate from your family a little more. So that was a little heartbroken at first, but when I was younger, it was like fun. I mean, I had a lot of memories as a child. So broken homes and families, not talking about their family traumas thoroughly, being seen as the black sheep of the family, and being compared to others in your family.
Oh, I had a good childhood from what I remember, but it was hard because certain things that I noticed that we wasn't able to get, I saw other races with them. So, yeah, it's like being an underdog. It's like, yeah, being an underdog. Nah, but everyone lies, so if you go on in the black family, 9 times out of 10 is going on in the other races family, so that we are all mean and negative. We are all criminal. It's like they call us lazy when actually we aren't lazy.
It's you again. Oh, nothing. So you want to hear about my trauma? Because I got trauma. So, no. But no, how I feel about, you know, mostly our people sweeping under the rug rape allegations in the family. I feel like that's really deeply rooted back into the slavery days, you know? Like, how some parents or some family lines got like that one white grandmother, and you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the rape and that generational stuff, that was just passed down from slavery. And it was, since black people was majority, the ones that was enslaved, I feel like that's why it's almost so common in every black family about rape or incest, because it's like it's damn near embedded in us. But far as the sweeping it under the rug, that's what I have a problem with. Like, nowadays people are, something happened online and they want to get this one person fired from their job from doing something. The whole world will come together and get this one person fired, get this one person blackballed off social media from their job, fired and all that. But when it comes to that one man that's in your family member, in your household, y'all still inviting him to Thanksgiving, holidays, cookouts, family trips. Like, I just don't get that. And that's kind of the reason why I don't bring my kids around as many family members as I would want to, until they're old enough to actually communicate back to me. And, you know, we do the no touch, the good touch, bad touch stuff, but they still babies. So yeah, I don't really trust, besides my dad and my brother, of course, I just don't really trust my kids around any male family members in my family. I feel like that's probably what everybody's family as well. They normalize it so bad, because it's just like, oh, that's just your uncle. Oh, your cousin, he been doing that. But it's like, and then when you really get older and really start hearing the stories of your family members, like what used to go on, you'll realize your grandfather was really your half uncle. And, you know, it's just so much going on. And I feel like it's usually, again, the black woman, is usually always black women protecting the black males. You got cousins and aunts protecting these uncles, and he touched on them too when they was kids. And they'll just watch it happen from generation to generation to generation. Me personally, I don't know what that's about. I'm all here for not putting a black man in jail or nothing, but don't be dumb. Don't be biased. Oh, that's my cousin. That's my great uncle. I'm not gonna tell the police on him. What? I'll be the first one to call. We gotta protect these black freaking women, because then the same little girl that the uncle probably touched, she gonna grow up protecting molesters too. So it's like the cycle never ends, you know? I feel like we gotta really put a dent in it now, so we can protect these black kids growing up, and these black kids can grow up into black women that continues to care for and support our black men. You know what I'm saying? That's really crazy now that I think about it. And it's like, I feel like the black women deal with that trauma still from that past. It takes away from them today, because they still gotta put their head, or they still gotta put a smile on their face when that name come up, or the man that touched them, or when they see him walk in the room. Like, that's weird. Like, you gotta just hold up this reputation, this reputation for your family, and your family really is. I feel like black people, they really care about what other people think of them versus what their own family members in that household think of them. They'd rather an outside opinion matter more than a call that's coming from inside the house. You get what I'm saying? It won't, like, it's like they only speak up if an outsider say that is wrong, versus that same person that's been living with them be like, yeah, you know, he been doing this to that girl for years, and they don't say nothing. Let another person come out from the outside and try to tell them about their uncle. They gonna hop on that band like, oh yeah, he been doing that for years. So why you ain't say nothing if it happened for years? Black women got this superhero complex that is literally embedded in us. We gotta protect our men. We gotta you know, protect ourselves, but nobody is coming to save the black women. That's why we gotta protect them while they kids now. You know? Nobody saved me from what happened. I just got told I was a liar. When they knew damn well that man been doing that for years. So, yeah.
The way I was raised, I always say that I was the most unprotected black child there was to be a little girl. That goes from, you know, kids being heard, being seen and not heard was the basic concept. So when things happened to me as a kid, like uncles touching you and fondling you, and you try to tell your parents, and your parents always tell you to keep stuff hush hush, and it gets up under the rug, and it's like no consequences. So when I had my children, I made sure that my children was never in that situation. I made sure that me being a teen parent, that none of my children, well, none of my daughters were teen moms, that they all graduated high school, because I didn't graduate high school, which I should have if I had a mother that pushed me to finish school or made me finish school. So with that being said, the way I raised my kids versus my mom, I try to encourage my kids. Of course, I try to discipline my kids. I don't think I beat my kids too much. But it was discipline. And I did try to encourage my kids. I try to be there for my children. I try to support my kids because I didn't have that from my mother. Now, my grandmother, my dad, she's my paternal grandmother, I would say. She helped me raise my children because my mother didn't help me raise mine, so I can go out and get a job, because I grew up on welfare with my mother, and I didn't want to raise my kids on welfare or in the project developments. So I made sure I worked at least 2 jobs to keep my kids from living in what is poverty, which we still were in poverty and living in the hood, but I wasn't on public assistance. I worked. We always had a car. We always had a nice house. They always had nice clothes. And I made sure my kids finished school. Like I said earlier, they finished school. I made sure that my kids earned things that they wanted. Nothing was given to my children except for Taylor. You know, Taylor had to get everything, you know. But besides that, I think I did a pretty good job with raising my children from versus the way I was raised. Whenever my kids told me anything, I believe my child sang.
The last thing I've heard that had more than 4 times, but the molester still out here on the streets till this day. Absence of the male figures, they are always trying to make an excuse for them. Like, not an excuse, but excuse.
Sexual abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse.
Being black, meaning being unapologetic. But the thing about being black to me is we the most understood person or people in the world. We the most hated. But to me, being black means bold, powerful, strong, a beautiful queen. Like, we helped build this country as a race. That's what being black means to me. Being proud to be black and to come from a black family and a black culture.
Being proud, hold my head up to the sky, that I'm like any other person that walked this earth. I'm somebody, regardless of what they say. I love being black. Black don't crack.
Being black means strong to me.
Feel like being black is, I know it to be strong, but when you look at life, it makes you want to be weak, but you have to overcome all of the nonsense.
No.
Y'all gonna be in the movie. Y'all gonna be in the movie.
I'm named Kaydance. Mama. This. Get back my call Auntie. Auntie. Mommy, where is my call sheet? Right here, my little call sheet. 5 minutes. You get a home and you get a flat paper. Then on paper, you get a home and a light forward to get a paper.
I know that's right.
A paper, the floor get a fun to you. On a black. I'm black in the two plate. Love you. Hi.
It's hot. Grown up black.
Set me up, they shot me, Mike, gave me like 2 miles. Little baby, keep on calling, told me, gave me like 2 hours. Sales, keep on calling, told me, meet me at the side gate. You know I keep it with me like a baby, keep it classy and free. Double up, he gon' be back, slinging ratchet. Free Cardi, one, he gon' be right back, trap back. All at my niggas, yeah, that shit not like hat back. You gon' try run up my picture, body side of casket. Little baby, tryna touch, I told her, you keep talking ratchet. Your bitch, you tryna fuck me, but I'm not gon' let her have it. I miss my fucking brother, we was on the block jamming. I miss my fucking brother, we was on the block jamming. Trapping up the shot me, Mike, give me like 2 miles. Little baby, keep on calling, told me, give me like 2 hours. Sales, keep on calling, told me, meet me at the side gate. You know I keep it with me like a baby, keep it passy and free. Double O, he gon' be back, slinging ratchets. Free Cardi, one, he gon' be right back, trap back. And all let my niggas at that shit should never happen. You girl try right up my picture, body side of casket. We dragging, come around our block, we let you have. We watch that ass, smoking all the sweet, it got me red. I been trapping, 13, I got my first rest and I been dragging. Niggas keep on bluffing on the net, y'all be yapping. If I got the right, bro, got the left, you gon' crack it. And the county bang like that shit get tragic. Told shorty, I just want the net, no connections. Told shorty, I just want the net, no connections. The shot me, Mike, gave me like 2 miles. Little baby, keep on calling, told me, gave me like 2 hours. Sales, keep on calling, told me, baby, at the side gate. You know I keep it with me like a baby, keep this passy and free. Double O, he gon' be back, slinging ratchets. The free Cardi, one, he gon' be right back, trapping. All of my niggas, yeah, that shit should never happen. You can turn right now, I picture body side of casket. Your baby tryna touch, I told her, you keep talking ratchet. Your baby tryna fuck me, but I'm not gon' let her have it. I miss my fucking brother, we was on the block jamming. I miss my fucking brother, we was on the block jamming.
Finally, a good day to get up there and fly, pilots. We're talking about VFR not as windy as we've been the last couple of days, so I'm excited.